This video is going to walk through the process of hand sewing a menstrual pad. I'm actually making one side of an H-style pad, but for this part of the video, this is strictly the pad portion. Now, what I did was take a ruler and I marked out, let's see, I've got 22 centimeters long and 6.5 centimeters wide. You can change that depending on the pad that you're doing. I have a pair of men's pajamas, which were flannel, an old washcloth, and a scrap of polar fleece or anti-pill fleece. So this is my wicking layer, so the layer that's next to the skin. This layer is going to absorb all of the blood. And then this layer acts as a barrier as well as holding the pad in the panty. It'll stay put because this doesn't slide around in your panty. When you do this kind of a pad, you don't need snaps, you don't need buttons, you don't need Velcro, you don't need wings. This just lays in the crotch of the panty and stays put. So what we're going to do is, you can see I started here, I put a knot on my thread. I am using a buttonhole thread, or if you can get nylon thread, that's really good because if these were to be boiled to get clean, the nylon thread will hold up for years, probably longer than your fabric. So it's just a really good idea. So of course you're going to have to find a needle that's got a fairly good sized eye in it so that you can get your thread in there. And the stitch I like to use for this is not sure the name of it, but where you came out, you're going to go backwards just a little ways to go back in, and then you'll come out in front of where you were. I do think it's called a back stitch, but you know, I just use procedures and don't really pay attention to my training. So this is where I came out right here. Now I'm going to go in behind that stitch. This, look, when I pull on that string, you see how it doesn't pull and gather all the way around. It's a lock stitch, so that makes it a really good choice for doing a menstrual pad. So I'm going to keep going till I get to the end. You know, this would be great work. You can find yourself a comfortable spot to sit. In the States, you can do this, you know, while you're on a long ride. I do like doing it on a table surface because I don't know if you can see, but underneath I've got this pad. Wood would work the same, stainless steel, you know, a piece of wood, anything that you can push your needle towards and then sort of use the tip to pick up the project enough to come out. So I don't have to have my fingers under there getting poked by the needle. So here we go. My granddaughter would say, this is satisfying work because you get to see, you know, your efforts are going to make a big difference for someone. In the United States, women are finding that their menstrual cycles are far less, pardon me, far less filled with issues like headaches and cramps, nausea. So if you know someone with those symptoms, try suggesting that they use a reusable menstrual pad. I suspect it's all the chemicals that are in the disposables. And you know, truthfully, it's not that hard to wash menstrual pads. Especially in the States, you can put it right in your laundry machine. So if you don't have a laundry machine, you can simply, you know, rinse these really good as soon as you can, actually. If you can get them in cold water, you know, by the end of the day, and then just wash them. If they get really soiled looking and it's bothering you, you could certainly boil them with whatever laundry helps you have available to you. Now I'm going to run out of string. I usually have way more than enough, but this time I didn't. So if you do, I'm going to recommend that you simply bring the string around to the underside. Oh, look, good thing I did that. I got so close that I was missing the edge of my fleece. You know, I'm using scraps, so then we'll tie the two together. But I want you to see the underside. That stitching, it just look, it looks like a long string, and you know, like long stitches. But again, this isn't like a piece of outerwear. This is perfectly fine for a menstrual pad. This will be great. All right, now hold on just a minute, and what we're going to do, I'm going to pretend that I got that finished, okay? So hold on. At this point, you could cut them out and lay them together before you start sewing, but I find it's just easier to do the cutting after because they'll lay together so nice while you're sewing and not slide around. Okay. And you know, I might as well, of course, and I'm cutting close. You know, we don't want to cut right on our sewing, but you can be close without causing trouble. And I want to make sure I don't cut that string off. Now, of course, I'll have to finish this by sewing close to the edge, but that's not going to be too bad. All right, so just like that, we have got one pad ready. And I'll do another video with two of them, and we'll sew the bridge. It's called the bridge that connects the two. Now, I do want to say that on a pad, this has really got good absorbency. So, you know, this would probably, you know, if you're a really heavy bleeder, obviously that's going to be a different circumstance. But for especially schoolgirls, this one will probably work all day long. Good chance. All right. So you can also consider if someone is a really light bleeder. When I first started having my period, I only had spotting maybe for 3 days. And so really I could have done fine with just either just the toweling and the fleece or just the flannel and the fleece. I didn't need a lot of coverage, but I needed some, obviously. So, you know, you could make a variety of these and offer them, you know, let women choose what is going to meet their need rather than, you know, overdoing it for some and underdoing it for others. So have a variety available. Next video, I'm going to be back and we'll have two sides and we'll connect them.